12 huge EastEnders spoilers for next week. What's coming up in Albert Square? 1. Stevie leads a fishing trip. On Father's Day in Albert Square, Stevie, Jack, Billy, and Howie take their sons on a fishing trip. Stevie confiscates Denzel, Wool, and Ricky's phones to encourage him to reconnect with nature and their dad. Billy worries when Stevie mistakenly calls him by the wrong name. 2. Phil gets a needed boost. Phil feels lonely without Ben and Louise. Denise takes Raymond to prepare for Jordan's baptism. Phil is hurt when Callum doesn't invite him to a video call with Ben. He asks Sharon for time with Albie, and though reluctant at first, she agrees. Phil and Albie bond over football, bringing happiness to Sharon. 3. Sharon is questioned by Phil. Sharon arranges for Callum to invite Phil to Ben's prison call, but leaves abruptly when Phil asks about Dean and Keanu. Phil discovers a suspicious text from Linda on Sharon's phone and confronts her at number 43. Sharon denies any knowledge, but Phil persists. He heads to the Vic to confront Linda, halted by Sharon. 4. Callum is suspicious. A comment made by Linda raises police officer Callum's suspicions. He later arrives for Ben's prison call, but Phil soon leaves when Callum shares details about his earlier conversation with Sharon. 5. Stevie discovers Will's secret. Back in Walford, Billy confiscates Will's phone. Stevie intervenes but later catches his grandson trying to steal money from Honey's purse. Despite Will's denial, Stevie finds a blackmail text on his phone. Instead of confronting Billy directly, Stevie confides in Mo for help. 6. Yolande has a run-in. Patrick urges Yolande to skip Jordan's baptism due to Levi, but she insists on attending as godmother. Annoyed by Patrick meddling with Chelsea's plans, they argue. Yolande gets advice from Elaine and later runs into Pastor Clayton and his wife. 7. Jordan's baptism causes drama. On Jordan's baptism day, Yolande, anxious but supported by Patrick, faces distress. Meanwhile, Chelsea, nervous, gets distracted by Kim's outfit. During the ceremony, Denise notices Yolande's unease and tries to comfort her. Bernie arrives, finds Yolande praying, and they have an emotional conversation. Boosted by Bernie's support, Yolande gains confidence, but she eventually shouts at Pastor Clayton and abruptly leaves. 8. Callum is warned off the scent. Sharon discovers from Callum at the cafe that he's talking to detectives about Keanu's murder. Worried, she meets with Johnny, Linda, and Jack at the Vic to plan their next move. Jack distracts Callum, and Johnny uses Ben's absence to convince him to stop investigating. 9. Mo and Stevie hatch a plan. After learning about Will's blackmail, Mo and Stevie decide to sell stolen goods on the market to raise money for him. Their scheme works well initially, but Phil interferes later on. Honey and Billy eventually shut down their unlicensed store. 10. Phil makes things clear. Phil is happy when Sharon agrees to let him have more access to their son. Sharon lets him spend some time with Albie at no point 43, and once they are alone, Phil confirms to Albie that he is his dad. 11. Maya is intrigued. Maya gets stood up by a friend, and Harvey takes her to lunch. Their conversation sours when Harvey reveals his son Aaron's criminal past. Afterward, Maya doesn't respond to Harvey's text, leaving him concerned about their friendship. Meanwhile, Maya's interest in Aaron's criminal history grows as she seeks to understand Harvey better and uncover personal connections. 12. Lola's fundraiser goes wrong. As Lola's fundraiser talent show begins at the Vic, Stevie, feeling guilty about letting Will down, is somber. Despite their earlier argument, Mo cheers him up, and their magic act entertains the crowd. Later, the residents are shocked to discover that the money raised from the talent show has been stolen.
Các bạn vừa theo dõi một sản phẩm của OK Spoiler. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại các bạn video tiếp theo.